Peace. As I progress in these videos to where I'm building more so on streams of consciousness, what's coming to me, but it's all within my wheelhouse. I've stated before on other videos that this is a fitness channel. I put a little spin on my own personal interpretation of fitness because it's health, wellness, it's exercise, it's physical, mental, and spiritual fitness. Now, this is kind of a far-fetched definition. However, if you building meaning you having conversation, critical thought, progressive dialogue, something that's positive, and you building back and forth with somebody, that is what I define within health and wellness, because the social interaction via the dialogue, the conversation, is healthy in its essence, as long as it's not stressful in a negative capacity. I'd even debate some of those conversations are healthy as well. Just you shouldn't overindulge in them type of stressful conversations because they aren't healthy in the long term. So again, I build, right? I do fitness. I got different chapters in my book that I'm going to add on. And that book is my book of life. So this is a stream of consciousness. And I'm kind of more so tailoring these builds because they'll just pop up to me when I'm going throughout the day, whatever activity there is. And I'm still in the amateur novice stage. My own personal opinion, a professional, right? A professional will write these notes down so they can add on. Pardon that plane. A professional will write these notes down so they can add on in a more constructive, thought out process to where they can go back to notes and so on and so forth. Not there yet. I kind of want to just freestyle it and give you an authentic, organic, natural build. And if you have any awareness, any discernment, you'll understand and you'll be able to feel that energy that, hey, this dude is just building because, you know, we just compadres, we just folks, we just sitting and building in the cipher. Because really, that's what I want the vibe to be. I'm working to get to the vibe. That's why I keep building, though. I'm being pretty consistent on putting out these videos because it's really enabling me to get more fluid, more comfortable, and that little knee-jerk reaction. Like when I build on the 52 blocks on the videos, I always talk about how important it is to practice on the techniques. And this shadow boxing, it's 1,000 punches, it's 1,000 jabs, it's 1,000 hooks, whatever it is. You practice on that actual technique so you can get more fluid in doing the actual motion. And that stands true for just building, right? So one of my boxes to check off, one of my goals is to be a better orator, you know, to build more fluent, to be able to convey a message more comprehensive to whoever's listening to it, to be a better listener. But more so, not more so, but to add to that is to be able to convey a message. And it needs to sound a certain way for me, right? I need to be more articulate and cut back on the ums and ahs and the mans and so on and so forth. Even saying so on and so forth, that's a filler. I don't want no fillers. I need the build to be fluid, because if you don't know, communication is extremely important. Physical communication and also verbal communication. But the verbal there's no but. The verbal communication is extremely important. If you do the knowledge throughout history, success leaves clues, and you will see most people with above average vernacular, above average articulation, able to convey a message, always tends to be on the upper echelon of success, whatever success is to you. But I'm digressing. That's not what the build is about. The build is about absolutes. And I know I built on this before, but I don't think it was fluid. I don't think it was comprehensive like I really want it to be. Because I come across this a lot when I'm just having some like critical thought with myself. So let me explain what I mean. Absolutes. If you're looking at a podcast, talk show, a lecture, or even if you're building with a close friend or a relative, brother, sister, whatever, if you building with them and they are telling you something that they're passionate about, they speak with a conviction of absolute certainty. The question is it absolute or not? Listen, y'all have to be able to exercise critical thought, because I go into deep analysis on some of the minutest shit ever. I love critical thinking. I love analyzing things. So again, their conviction is from an absolute stance. But let's take something as mundane as sports, like your favorite football team. So my favorite squad is the 49ers. I could be building about the 49ers to somebody that knows very little about the 49ers or football in general, and they can walk away with the belief that the 49ers is the number one team, all hands down. And that would be because of my absolute conviction. Okay, maybe we're not there, right? Maybe that isn't detailed enough analogy or a detailed enough example. So let's take a different example. Take somebody that is pro-marriage. They can build on their marriage, their experience, and how beneficial and how positive and how great it's been. Their conviction could be absolute, with absolute certainty. Not off of opinions, but off of facts. So that would be absolutely true if their marriage is 100% across the board, super positive, everything they want it to be. So typically, generally speaking, they would advocate marriage in general to whoever's willing to listen. Then you take somebody that is anti-marriage, that don't believe in getting married, and they have a relationship or no relationship, but their life is well off just as they like it to be. They positive, they successful, they're perfectly fine as being single or not being married. And they speak in absolute convictions with truth. And why is it truth? Because it's their reality. So look at that. You got two different scenarios at two different ends of the spectrum, and they're absolutes. Now, if you are easily swayed, you'll go either way. And then I'm using you as an example, then you would take either one of those stories and rebuttal somebody else you're having a conversation with, like, my friend is married and their life is wonderful, so we should all get married. Or the other end of the spectrum, marriage ain't about shit because my friend ain't married and they doing perfectly fine. Two different ends of the spectrum, but still dealing with absolutes. So the thing about that, though, when you're using generalizations, generally speaking, which most of the builds are about, because you're just generalizing things, you have to be wise enough to understand that when you build in those type of capacities, in those forms, that generalizations is taken on face value. Because if you would say that being marriage yields X and Y benefits, generally speaking, it's agreeable. Do that mean that it's an absolute for everybody? Absolutely not. So it's like, don't get caught up in absolutes or in somebody else's bullshit. Because we all got to navigate our own 9,000 miles. and we all got to live our own lives, and situations are different. Sometimes we set ourselves up for winning. Sometimes we set ourselves up for failure, and then we have to course correct different scenarios. But if you don't have a strong foundation, you don't have confidence within yourself, and your self-esteem is a little shabby, you will be easily swayed, especially nowadays with social media. So I just wanted to come on and do a quick build about absolutes, and also be aware that people be speaking in absolutes, especially on YouTube and social media, for different agendas. They'll throw something out there to clickbait you, but not clickbait you in terms of getting you to look at something and it's really not what it's supposed to be. To clickbait you, to trigger your emotions, to say something that gets you going so they can get the engagement, right? The old bait and switch is typically always about money. And if I can get you hooked on it, like if I can talk about Trump and all y'all are anti-Trump, I can throw something out there and to get y'all all back and forth arguing with me. That's just building my page up. That's getting me on, right? It's a tactic that I'm using to get a desired result. But once you get super emotional and you more concerned about what the build is about than being able to be critical and to be analytical and see what I'm really doing, then you just freaking a knee-jerk reaction. You super emotional. And I'm not even knocking that, right? Because that I'm building right now. That's not even no absolute. Maybe you like to throw your opinion out there and you like to get worked up and build online and shit like that. You know, that's cool too. I'm just not big about pigeonholing anybody into anything. I understand what my principalities are, what my foundation is, but I'm not trying to enforce that on anybody. If we building, we agree to disagree, or we agree, don't even matter. I'm very conscious of it's bigger things going on and bigger fish that I got to fry than to argue with some weirdo or somebody online that I don't even know, because it don't even matter. I appreciate you for running this fucking engagement up. You know, I'm being straight transparent. I'm trying to run it up, but providing value. So I'm taking a long haul to get all my social media up, YouTube up. I'm not bending on my principles, and we'll get there when we get there. I'm gonna learn the game. I'm gonna provide value, and all that shit is sincere. I'm adding value, super sincere. So yeah, man, just a quick build about absolutes. You know, I go on tangents, and they real mild tangents because it's just whatever the stream is. I don't need it to be super organized. I'm just building. Remember, this is a fitness channel. We building. So do me a solid. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do all of that shit. Run it up, and let's build, man.